Right, hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Greedy BOYA here, bringing you guys another video on the lovely MT-09. Now today I want to make a video, hopefully you guys can all hear me. When I get out of it, it'll be a lot bloody easier for you. But hopefully, you know, at the moment, I'm not paying, you can shove off, you bloody piece of rubbish. But yeah, so today I wanted to bring you guys a video on why I chose a second-hand MT-09 to a model up, the 18 plate. Now, it's a very tricky question to answer, but it also has a very simple answer. I'm going to go this way and I'm probably going to get lost, so this video probably will have a few bits of editing because I'll probably stop talking. But the main thing is the price difference. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head what a brand new 0 mileage MT-09 would cost. I believe it's in the 8,000 area. I'm not too sure. Now, I purchased this bike on the basis that I was looking for MT-09s. Mainly was looking at the MT-09 SP. Obviously didn't end up with it. I took it out, took it for a test ride, and that was when I actually fell in love with the MT-09 range completely. The main thing that got me into the MT range was I borrowed a friend's MT-07 for a month while my bike was off the road, and I was trying to get a few bits and bobs on it sorted out. I believe it was when I was changing the private plate over from the standard plate, whatever it was, to my personal private one. And obviously, you know, I had a month left on my insurance, didn't want to pay the £40 admission fee, so I paid my friend the £40 and got his bike for a month, which was quite interesting. And having that for a month was absolutely lovely. You know, having that torque range compared to my XJ at the time was absolutely crazy. And it's safe to say that I have no idea where I'm going, but it's safe to say that I absolutely loved having that bike for that month that I did have the vehicle for. And yeah, it really made me fall in love with the bike. Now at that time I was looking at the MT range completely, from the MT-07 to the MT-10, not actually having my licence by then. I was still on my A2 licence, so I did have to still upgrade my licence before then, but you know, you get connections with people, you can manage to do magical things, which, you know, like I say, took the MT-09 out. At that point I did have my licence, so, you know, there was no naughtiness going on. Oh shit, I nearly ran that. So I had that bike for a month, really fell in love with the 2-cylinder, the little, you know, that little brap brap noise that it makes, this little talky brap. And then jumping, I had a little think. But yeah, I had to think to myself at the time, do I really want to jump from an XJ6 to an MT-07? Same pretty much top end. I think my XJ had a little bit more of a top end on it compared to my XJ. Yeah, my XJ had a little bit more of a top end compared to the MT at the time. You know, unless my mate got his little skinny ass on the XJ, it was quicker than his MT, but when my fat ass was on it, it was slower. Hence the reason why I upgraded bike, because my fat ass can't lumber around a 600, I needed a 9 for it, or 846cc as you want to call it. Yeah, so obviously I was looking at the MT range, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, you know, I don't want to jump from a 600 to a 700 or whatever the MT is now. I thought a little bit practical. I thought if I'm going to upgrade bikes, then I may as well upgrade bikes. So I took a few test rides out. I never took the 10 out for a test ride, mainly because I watched videos and everyone was saying too much power for the road, it's really unnecessary. And you know, I watched people when they were doing like like 100 odd miles an hour, 100 odd plus miles an hour in like second gear, and you know, there was that much torque on it. I suppose in some respect it kind of made me shit myself, and you know, too much torque for one man, you know, there can be too much, and unfortunately that looked too much for me at that time. Well, it looked too much for me at that time to trust myself with, not, oh shit, bloody horn, not in the respect that I don't think that I could handle it, it's in the respect that I don't think I could trust myself with it. So I tamed it a little bit and went to the 9, took it out the first time, loved it, then took it back, which was the SP, so I had a little play with the Olin suspension. I thought, oh yeah, this bike's wicked, and then I couldn't justify the extra bit of money for the suspension. I thought, well, it's handy to have, am I really going to use it to its full potential? No, not really. So I had a little bit more of a thought, and was looking around on other places to see if I could find a good ranged MT-09, and I came across this one. Now, it had nothing done to it apart from a windscreen and a radiator guard. Apart from that, the bike was completely stock. I think when I picked up the bike, it had 2,100 miles on it. So, you know, it's just had, well, it's had 2 services from the previous owner. So we had it at 600, then at 1,600. So, you know, it was perfectly running for me. So I thought, oh, brilliant, you know. It's not got very many miles on it. It looks immaculate. Went over, I had a look at it. I didn't take it out for a test ride. They asked me, and I honestly didn't want to ruin it. I know I took the SP out, but I didn't want to ruin riding that specific bike, because in every, you know, every bike that I ride in my eyes has its own personality. It has its own different things. You know, like Tanya at this point, she's got a lovely Black Widow, you know, which makes her stand out for me. It's just so goddamn noisy. But yeah, so I was looking at it, and I thought to myself, you know, it's only just been running. Oh, come on, you ball bag. It's pretty much only just been running. It's got hardly any miles. And then I asked for some previous owner background, and it turns out the guy had 2 MT-09s, one in black and this blue one, and then he had a black MT-07. And I thought, what the hell? And apparently he was switching every 3 days between the bikes, and then traded this one in for an MT-10. So I was like, oh, okay, apparently the bloke had it 6 months, and the bloke was 86 years old. Or I might have it wrong, he might be 76 years old. He was 86 or 76, one of the two. All I know is that he was, the bloke said he was an old chap. He just got over, you know, an illness. I'm not going to say what the illness was. And he thought, screw it, I'm going to do my test, and bought a load of bikes, and yeah, this is how I have obtained this bike. But you know, making me, what are you doing? The thing that obviously made me think, oh god, of course, there's always one. The thing that honestly made me love this bike so much was the fact that I always wanted an MT-09 for years. I used to love the orange one, and as time went on, you know, I heard about the fork seals leaking and, you know, problems with the suspension on that particular model. I know I could have got a different bloody model, but after seeing the 17 plate, which is this one, when they brought this particular model out with the butterfly eyes, as I call them, you know, I was going through all the new colours at the time. This was 2017, by the way, not 2018. And, you know, I thought it was a brilliant bike, and at that time I just couldn't justify spending money, finishing off my test and purchasing another motorcycle at that point. You know, I didn't have the money, so I thought, screw it, I'm going to save up. I did some saving, paid for my test, got that out of the way over a period of 3 days. Shout out to Rider Training, you know, Simon, you legend. But yeah, so I got that done over the 3 days. My test did actually get cancelled, believe it or not, the Mod 2, so I did have to wait a little bit, which was really annoying. And none of us knew until the bloody morning when I had to trek all the way down there. But you know, nevertheless, it was booked in a week later. Obviously, me being me, I passed it, you know. Generosity and all to that motorcyclist there. I don't know what was generosity about it, the fact that I nodded at him. There you go, mate, have a nod. But yeah, so you know, then it got to a year later. I still like that model. I know the only thing they really changed on the 18 plate was suspension or something, and then they changed some of the plastics to a different colour. Oh wow, whoopty bloody do. And if I'm honest, the only thing that really I liked about the SP was the inverted screen, which I've heard they go for like 600 quid, so I could just put one on this and happy days, but irrelevant now. It's not necessary, it's not needed. So yeah, so that was why I bought a second-hand bike, just because it was cheaper by about £1,000. I spent 6,800 I bought for this bike, 7 grand once I paid for all the tax and everything, because it was about 140 quid. So if you work that out, I paid 7 grand for it to be taxed and the switch over the insurance, because you have to pay an admission fee to switch it over apparently, which is bloody annoying. So if you work out 7 grand for a second-hand bike that's had a £150 screen and a £150 radiator guard, it's had 3 services worth about £150 to £300 each. You know, well looked after, well maintained, and the running's already done for me, then hell yeah, that was why I chose it. Because I didn't have to mess about with the running period, I didn't have to mess about paying for the services. You know, it's been well looked after, minus a few scratches on the screen from where he's obviously had all his keys on there, but really that is it. So my opinion to you guys would be, if you can find an immaculate bike that you actually like, instead of buying one brand new, have a little search first, see what you can find. You never know what you're actually going to see. For a bike that had like 2,000 miles on it, second hand, a year old, you really can't argue with that. You really can't. So just have a look before you purchase new. You never know what deals and bargains you're going to find. So yeah, with that said, I'll catch you all later on, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And for that, I shall see you all in my next video. Au revoir.